www.treasury.gobt.nz.
National leader Simon Bridges this morning fronting up, saying his party's behind this week's leak of sensitive budget information.
This is from within National. I'm the leader of National. I take full responsibility for this.
The opposition exploited a fault with Treasury's website. Budget documents were stored on a second, hidden site, ready to go live on Budget Day. But searching specific terms on the public-facing platform revealed parts of this top-secret information. Earlier this week, the Treasury Secretary went on the offensive.
They have attacked it persistently, systematically, in a very determined fashion. Not once, not twice, not 10 times, not 20 times, but we think about 2,000 times.
But Simon Bridges claims they would have known how the information got out all along.
Treasury has known since Tuesday exactly what happened, and they covered it up to hide their incompetence.
This week was meant to be about the government's first ever wellbeing budget.
Political tactics, it takes the shine off the budget. I mean, we're not talking about the big statements that were made yesterday about mental health.
The political power play raising ethical questions.
Just because you've left the gate open doesn't mean someone can come and steal your sheep.
It was the right thing to do.
A blunder from Treasury that'll continue to overshadow this Budget Day.
But let's go back to Imogen. And Imogen, calls for resignations are coming in thick and fast. What's the latest?
Well, Simon Bridges has called for the resignation of Finance Minister Grant Robertson following this whole incident, but he's also calling for the resignation of Treasury Secretary Gabrielle McLouth, and that's where the pressure really is. McLouth has already actually handed in his resignation before all of this happened, as he'll be taking over Ireland's central bank, but that was meant to be in June this year. But this week, after all of these, after those leaked details, there are questions as to whether or not his resignation will be brought forward, and he'll be stood down earlier. Grant Robertson this morning has expressed his disappointment in Treasury and for them going to police before really clarifying just how that information got out. Regardless of all of that, though, regardless of any resignations, Treasury has said they will be launching an investigation into their systems to make sure a breach like this never happens again.
All right, that's our reporter Imogen Wells live from Parliament. And mental health is expected to feature largely in this year's budget, with funding details to be released later today. It follows an inquiry into mental health and addiction, with the government accepting 38 of 40 recommendations.
Suicide rate.
Yesterday's announcement will see the Mental Health Act repealed and replaced, with hundreds more frontline staff, a wider variety of services culturally aligned to individuals, and a national suicide prevention strategy all being promised.
It's very encouraging and it will make some very big differences.
The Mental Health Foundation is glad to see help for those at crisis point, but says prevention is also crucial.
It's always more urgent to get those ambulances to the bottom of the cliff than it is to put the fence at the top of the cliff.
The government says it's working to fix that too, targeting those with mild to moderate mental health issues.
We're going to have to train specialists, we're also going to have to train peer support workers, and in order to meet the scale of need that's out there, the level of distress across the country, we are going to have to keep focus on this for a very long time.
But what wasn't picked up by the government? A suicide prevention target.
In terms of suicide, we simply can't accept that there is an acceptable number, or that somehow we should be celebrating if we get to a certain point, if we still have people taking their own lives.
Addiction and mental health campaigners want the government to focus on looking after frontline staff too.
When they burn out, they carry with them years and years of knowledge, and of course the taiaha of knowledge is the way to fight these battles that we're facing.
Overall, Tommy Wilson is happy with the news.
The wellbeing budget, or ORA, as in Kia ora. So it's about working out a bit the wellbeing of a person and how do you reconnect them once they're disconnected. Because at the moment they're flying solo and they're self-medicating on everything.
But this all costs a lot, and how much the government is prepared to spend to tackle this issue will be revealed later today. India Leishman, One News.
And of course, One News will have all the details and analysis of this year's budget right here on TVNZ1 from 2 o'clock this afternoon. Authority has found police failed in their duty of care after a man died of a drug overdose while in custody. The report also raised serious concerns with the monitoring of the detainee held at the Hawke's Bay custody unit in November 2017. Police accept the findings and say changes have been made to improve the way staff deal with and supervise detainees. The Canterbury earthquakes ensured reading in Parliament with some improved changes. The data range for the earthquakes has been extended to the 31st of December in public places the same way as smoking. A new study from Otago University raised concerns about the exposure children and non-smokers had to nicotine. It recommended policies around outdoor vaping areas as the activity becomes more popular. They're in public places. Council Robert Mueller says charging President Donald Trump with the crime was not an option. At its first presidential election, Mr Mueller reiterated it did not clear Mr Trump. The BBC's John Sopel reports.